Thanks to the current social distancing situation, off-roading and overlanding is exploding in America right now. And everyone wants in on it. But where do you start? Well, first, you subscribe down below. All right, now that you've done that, listen up, because I'm about to tell you about a truly ideal deal. I mean, this is basically the dictionary definition of ideal deal. For less than 10,000 bucks, you can get the most capable, the most comfortable, and the most reliable mall crawling, rock crushing, trail running 4x4 you can buy today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Lexus GX470. Now, you're probably here because you're considering buying a Lexus GX470 yourself. Well, do it. Cool. Video's over, guys. Keep living that ideal lifestyle. Oh, you want to hear more? Well, let me tell you why I, the squid, went ahead and bought one. That's right. This is my very own, new to me, 2005 Lexus GX470. And I love it. And I firmly believe that this is the best off-roading, overlanding, and even daily driving rig you can get for under 10 grand. And actually, a lot less than that, but more on that in a minute. But first, a little history. You see, this is the first gen GX, known as the GX470, which I think stands for Grand Crossover, but that's debatable. Because in truth, this is no crossover. This is a full-blown, full-size 4x4 SUV. And when I say full size, it is full size. This thing's a monster. And the GX's design is pretty crazy. It's a Lexus, so it has everything you expect with that nameplate. Luxury, performance, comfort, a smooth running V8. But underneath all of the chrome and leather, this is actually a Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. One of the most bulletproof and capable 4x4s Toyota has ever produced. They do not give out that Land Cruiser badge willy-nilly. Oh no. A Land Cruiser is the absolute best that Toyota has to offer. It's pretty much Toyota's point of pride, and this little Lexus right here, this is that point of pride. This luxury liner is built on the same platform as the Toyota Land Cruiser, 4Runner, and FJ. That is some good company to keep. This thing is basically a wolf in sheep's clothing. Now, it's kind of ugly clothing. Sort of looks like an elephant or a rhinoceros to me, but it's a wolf under there. Brand new, this was a $50,000 mall cruiser that competed with the likes of the Mercedes-Benz ML320 and the not-so-great Land Rover LR3. And let me tell you, I sold a Land Rover to get this GX, and you do not want to go with the LR3, or any Land Rover, ever. I think I paid more to maintain my old Land Rover in a year than it took to buy this car cash. And this is really where the GX470 starts to shine. You see, this particular GX has 250,000 miles on it. The odometer is sitting at 256,000 miles right now. But when it comes to a car like this baby's just getting started. This is a 1,000,000-mile car. Easily. Again, this is a Land Cruiser. This is the most over-engineered SUV you could buy in 2005. That level of engineering that Toyota put into this really shows, even after 15 years, even after 250,000 miles. This Lexus drives and runs like brand new. In fact, let's drive it right now. The interior on this car is immaculate. I don't think the back seats in this have ever been used, and probably won't be with me. There's a third row of seating that I don't think's ever been folded down. And it's a Lexus, so the previous owner, of which there was only one, probably never put the pedal to the metal in this. Probably 200,000 of the 250,000 miles on this were spent driving back and forth between a Starbucks and a yoga class. The interior in this car is immaculate. It's like it rolled off the factory floor in 2005. And that's a testament to Toyota's engineering. Everything about the GX was built to last. Interior trim pieces are basically welded together. Every button, a solid feel. Every switch, a satisfying click. This was $50,000 in 2005. That's a hell of a lot of money. So it makes sense that the previous owner took it to a Lexus dealership every 3,000 miles. And I can almost guarantee this Lexus has never seen dirt and mud, which is an absolute shame because the first gen GX is an absolute monster when you take it off the beaten path. Equipped with a full-time four-wheel drive system with manual lever transfer case, hill descent control, selectable center locking diff, and pretty decent ground clearance, if I do say so myself. And what is probably one of my favorite features, an advanced all-wheel drive system called A-Track, which is super effing complicated. Don't be loud, phone. But my best understanding of it is there's a wheel speed sensor on each wheel. And when A-Track detects a wheel slipping when you're off-roading, like for example, if a wheel is up in the air, A-Track automatically applies brakes to that wheel to divert power to the other wheel to get you traction and get you over that obstacle. Now, sadly, I have not tested that feature yet, but I plan to. But from what I'm told, it eliminates the need for expensive front and rear air lockers on all but the most difficult of terrain. And when you see it in action, it's pretty frickin' incredible. And one of the best features of this sharing the soul of a Toyota is its innards are shared with the likes of the Land Cruiser and the FJ, making parts cheap and easily available. Not that you'll ever really need them with this. Aftermarket brands have caught on too, and there's basically an upgrade for literally every part of this car now. And it's even sparked its own movement called GXOR, or GX Offroad. And yeah, it's a fantastic off-road machine. But what makes it a great overlanding machine? Well, first of all, you should probably know what overlanding is. Overlanding is the pursuit of a journey, reaching some great destinations, but enjoying the trip along the way. Usually, this is done with an off-road vehicle, and it's pretty much gospel that you camp in it every night. So, long story short, you're gonna be in your car a lot. You're gonna be driving it for thousands of miles down highways, bouncing down rough, bumpy roads, and sleeping next to, in, or on top of your truck. So, whatever vehicle you choose, better be comfortable. And this is a damn Lexus. It's about as comfortable as it gets. Good night. Inside, you're surrounded by high-grade leather and beautiful wood trim, and all of the amenities you could ever want in a car. Buttons that feel really good to press, switches that really make a satisfying click, and enough sound deadening in here to block out the entire world, which is really important because if you're gonna run like aggressive MT tires, it's gonna suck after a few days. The interior in the GX is humongous. It's even got 3 rows. Or take that row out, fold the back seats forward, and you've got a huge platform for sleeping, setting up a kitchen, or whatever else you need. There's even a power hookup in the back. I cannot tell you how luxe this thing is for what I paid for it. And it's good that it's cheap because we should probably talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say under the hood. You see, the 470 stands for the 4.7 liter V8 that powers the GX. This is the 2UZ-FE. It is designed for low revving, high torque output, and this baby delivers on those promises. Compared to the 4.6 liter V8 that was in my Land Rover Discovery before this, it's no competition. This thing screams, and it's buttery smooth, as Brad loves to say. You can't even feel when this thing shifts gears. What you can feel though is the gas gauge going down. She is thirsty.
I don't need it. I need it!
In my tests, I've got about 18 miles per gallon out of the thing. But that's pretty much all highway driving. Reports that I've heard, once you add some off-road tires, a lift, you're looking at closer to single-digit numbers. And that's not really helped by the relatively small gas tank in these. It's not uncommon to see an off-road version of this with lots of jerry cans strapped to the back door. And speaking of modifications, yes, this is a Toyota Land Cruiser. You can basically take it from the used car lot straight to your favorite trail and crush. But it's also a Lexus and it has some not so desirable luxury options, like the kind of funky but kind of cool auto-leveling air suspension. On my first few drives, I was pretty amazed at how well the airbag suspension system really changed the ride as you dialed it from comfort to sport, going from an almost waterbed-like feel to a taut off-roader with just a few clicks. But after about 15 minutes of driving, I set it to sport and I haven't changed it since. It's really unnecessary. Everything else was pretty nauseating as the Lexus bounced and rolled with every little bump in the road. And this trick air suspension system is probably the first thing you're going to remove when you start modifying the GX470. The good news is, the parts are kind of in high demand, so if you have a good setup, selling the old parts can go towards funding a new lift kit. Now, if you're looking for a good, reliable, capable SUV that'll treat you right, leave the GX470 stock, and you are set. The GX is absolutely the best choice at this price point. And let's talk about that price point. I bought this GX, which only had one owner its entire life and was in a Lexus dealership every 3,000 miles for $7,300. I think that was the cheapest GX470 in the nation, according to Auto Tempest. And at that price point, you're looking at what, a CR-V or a RAV4? Those won't get you over any mountains. I mean, seriously, name a more capable, more reliable SUV for $7,300, and I'll eat my socks in the next video. Okay, so you're sold. You ready to buy one? Good choice, by the way. Let me run you down what you should probably know. Prices on these vary wildly, from the low of $7,300, like this one, all the way up to the near 20s, depending on what year you go for. Now, the first gen GX470 sold between 2003 and 2009, but you're gonna wanna get the 05 and up. The engine got a nearly 40 horsepower bump, but if that's not important to you, the 03 and the 04 can be a really cheap option. Speaking of options, you're gonna wanna be aware of the options that the GX470 came with. Like this fancy navigation system that I have. You probably don't want this. It's dated, it's ugly, it's horrible, and it ties up all your climate controls into a digital screen instead of knobs, which sucks. Upgrading your stereo with these is sort of a nightmare. The same goes for the Mark Levinson speaker system. Also a nightmare if you ever plan on upgrading or even repairing the audio system. And of course, mine has it. If you really need factory nav, seek out the 07 and newer GX470. It's got an upgrade, it's much more usable, much higher resolution than this piece of crap. You're also gonna wanna look out for dashboard cracks. Pretty common in these. And as you can imagine, insanely expensive to repair. Luckily, that's the one option my GX does not come with. Also really important, you're gonna wanna make sure the timing belt and water pump have been replaced every 90,000 miles. And if you don't have a service record indicating that it's been done, pretty much assume that you're gonna need to do it. And because these have been babied for their entire lives and probably never taken off-road, when you go to test drive one, give that center locking diff a try because it's probably never been activated in its entire life. And if it's seized up, you're looking at a pricey repair. Some GXs came with a fancy system called KDSS. If you plan on heavily modifying yours, it's probably best to avoid it. You'll know if yours has it if your front sway bar has like a bellows above it. Now, if you plan on keeping it stock, KDSS is actually a pretty amazing system and another genius Toyota development. It keeps the vehicle really level in cornering, and mine without KDSS has a lot of body roll. And as always, as with any used car, keep an eye out for one with a good service record. I can't speak to that enough. If there's no service record, it's just a bad sign that you're getting a bad car, and you don't want that with a fancy, expensive Lexus. If you find one with a decent service record that's been maintained its whole life, you're looking at easily 500,000 miles out of one of these, and even maybe up to 1 million. And that's really all you need to know. If you're still watching and considering a GX470, I think you cannot go wrong. It is absolutely, without a doubt, one of the best vehicles ever made and just an insane value right now. Hell, prices may even go up as word gets out about the GX, so sorry I made this video exposing this deal to everybody, and that's it. Now, check out some more Ideal content and hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and let us know what Ideal car you want to see next. Please say Aventador. Please say Aventador.